Senator, it's good to have you with us. I hate to say that it is for this occasion. I know that you visited Michigan State University just back in October, and you met with students who had formed a March for Our Lives chapter on that campus. Now that community sadly joins the list of schools struck by tragedy. So just for starters, tell me your thoughts on what happened last night and the state of our country right now, sir.
So in Connecticut, we know a version of what Michigan State is going through right now. Sandy Hook is a pretty amazing community, a community that in many ways has come back, but a community in many ways that'll never, ever be the same. I just don't think you can really articulate the kind of trauma that just sticks around, never goes away in a community that's been impacted by a mass shooting. All that being said, I don't buy this narrative that we can't do anything about it or that we haven't done anything about it. The fact of the matter is, since Sandy Hook, we've passed 525 laws at the federal level, the state level, that have made our communities safer. Now, we're in a race because there are more guns, more illegal guns, more assault weapons out there than ever before. But I am absolutely certain that the law that we passed last year, the first gun safety measure passed by Congress in 30 years, is, as we speak, saving lives. And coincidentally, today, the federal government announced a series of grants to states who want to use federal resources to implement red flag laws. Michigan will get millions of dollars to implement a red flag law if they choose to pass it. And what we know is the states that have these laws, they save lives. Florida, actually, a red state, has a red flag law. They've used it 5,000 times to take guns away from people in crisis. Most of the time, those are stopping suicides, but sometimes they're stopping mass shootings as well. So we know that these laws work. We've passed federal legislation that guarantees states are going to have the resources to implement these laws if they choose to put them on the books. And my hope is that those students that I met with last fall at Michigan State University are going to have a lot more recruits to join their chapter of Students Demand Action or March for Our Lives, and that they are going to demand the state capitol respond to this tragedy, but frankly, the epidemic that exists every single day in Michigan, dozens of people losing their lives from guns.
Let me play for you and our viewers something that the Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel said just earlier to my colleague Chris Jansing on this network. She has two sons at Michigan State. Watch.
I couldn't even make it through their sophomore year without an incident like this happening. I'm the top law enforcement official in this state, and I can prevent a tragedy like this from happening. What do any of us have? What hope do we have as parents if we don't have legislators who are willing to actually do something to protect our children? We have to start loving our kids more than we love our guns.
All right, so you just outlined the 500-plus laws that have been passed that have made a difference or are making a difference, but what do we need more of right now? Where can we see some areas improve so that we don't have to hear the Attorney General say that effectively what sounds like she's hopeless?
Well, obviously, the holy grail here is a national criminal background check system and a ban on assault weapons, which tend to be the weapon of choice for mass killers because they are just much more effective at killing as many human beings as quickly as possible. That's what they're designed for. And I think as we're learning a little bit more about this shooting, it may be that this individual shouldn't have been able to purchase a weapon, but did. There are plenty of mass shooters, plenty of perpetrators of homicides who are prohibited by federal law from getting a weapon, but they get it through the black market because there are so many weapons being sold out there that get to the black market because of a lack of background checks at gun stores, at gun shows and through online sales. So a federal mandatory comprehensive background check law, which, by the way, is supported by 90% of Americans, is probably the most important thing we can do to stop both mass shootings, maybe like this one, and the everyday gun violence that we see in cities across this country. Again, that's a really popular endeavor, and I just think if Republicans continue to oppose it and vote against it, they are going to increasingly lose elections.
You have spoken about and written at length about the epidemic of loneliness in this country. How do you see that overlapping with the gun epidemic and the mass shooting violence that we see, like the one that we saw last night?
So it is true that more people today feel deeply lonely than ever before. And in particular, this is a problem amongst young people. Right now, 60% of teenagers feel very alone. And it is true that oftentimes when you mix together loneliness with grievance or grudge, which tends to be felt a little bit more so by young men, the result can be violence. But I don't think it's right to explain America's gun violence epidemic through the prism of loneliness, because loneliness doesn't exist only in the United States, just like mental illness doesn't exist only in the United States. That emotion exists in every other high-income nation. It's just that in those countries, people that are sort of feeling a combination of loneliness and grievance and want to take out their frustration in violence don't have access to any weapons of mass destruction. Only in this country can you be feeling really terrible about yourself, contemplate some act of violence as your brain is breaking, and within 24 hours get your hands on a military-style assault weapon that allows you to kill 30 people in 5 minutes. So to me, yes, we should attack this issue of loneliness. I've written extensively about it. I just think it's good for the mental health of our nation. It's good for our kids. But we shouldn't expect that if we fix the epidemic of loneliness, we are automatically going to fix the problem of gun violence.